Today is the day. All this is coming out, all this grass. I'm renting a sod cutter, taking it all out. And we are going to be installing a brand new lawn. I didn't want to glyphosate it because down here, you can see that I can't run the mower like perfectly across this without it scalping this part of the grass because of the difference in elevation. So it needs to be completely re-leveled in a lot of spots. It's honestly garbagey grass. This is, when we moved here 20 years ago, this is the same exact grass that was here. I've overseeded a couple times, but it's just time to do something nice, something good. And you know, over in this section, let's see if I'm pointing correctly here. Right in there, that's kind of got a hump to it, and I always scalp it. So all this is coming out. The boulevard area is coming out, section over there, and then the section there. So it's not too much at all. I can't see that it'll take more than a couple hours. We're gonna rent a sod cutter from Home Depot, and that should do the job. So sod cutter rented from Home Depot at the tool rental department, and we'll get her loaded up on this trailer that I borrowed from my brother-in-law. She's got a reverse to get her off the trailer. Pretty cool. This project will not take long. Okay, so to set the depth on this, we tilt it forward and loosen this bar right here. And it's gonna drop it however we want, from what the guy told me. Unless I'm doing something wrong. Yeah, there we go. So we'll have to play with it a little bit to get the correct depth and go from there.
Look at these monkeys.
I've never had a grub issue, but look at how many little grubs, little larvae I'm finding in my grass right here. Okay, so right here, it took a little bit to get the correct depth of what I wanted, but that actually came out perfect. He's continuing the sod cut, and we are just rolling it up, making it look like a sod farm right now. Out. So I purposely didn't put down any kind of grub control this year because I knew I was taking my grass out in fall. But this is a pretty good infestation of grubs right here. So there's no noticeable damage because I'm irrigating and watering, so the grass is growing as fast as they can eat. But wow, this is pretty crazy. So this is, if you're not using grub control, you can, and you have nice grass, you can kind of expect this to happen. Make sure you mark your irrigation. So I knew that most of mine, I had one out here, I've got one out there, I've got maybe one there, but otherwise there was the corner here, the corner down here, and then, you know, it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and they're all on the edge. So I didn't have to use any kind of flags. But if you got a big yard with lots of irrigation, make sure you mark off all your stuff, obviously. This is what little baby, is that focusing right? Little baby grubs look like. So there's one there, and this is when they're little babies. So progress. Almost got all this removed, got that done. Everything's going out to the curb because within their city, they have a program where the city will come with their trucks for a certain fee and pick all that's up. So that's gonna be picked up on Tuesday, but otherwise we are still just cranking along, and it's going good. But like I said, it's definitely labor intensive. You want some people to help you to do this. What I found was helpful. So this is where I was cutting my grass, probably about a ½ inch. I took my rotary mower and was going as low as I could, and I started this in the summertime, but I wanted to cut it short so it didn't have a deep root system. So when we use the sod cutter, you can see that I only had to go down about an inch or so, and I'm at dirt and I got all the roots. So if I was cutting my grass at probably 2 or 3 inches, man, I would have to cut this really, really thick. So if you're doing this project at home, scalp your grass first for a little while so the roots shorten up, and then do it. Then grab your sod cutter and do it. So Home Depot policy, the guy told me, make sure you have this thing clean or else they'll charge us for it. So we got the little electric power washer out, getting it all cleaned up. Okay, so right here, this is where I was using the little rototiller right here to grind that kind of lip down to get it nice and level with the sidewalk. And this little rototiller, man, I know I've talked about it. I will talk about it a lot in the video. What a champ this little thing is. So one of the most laborious parts of this job, and it's taking the longest, is just collecting up all the sod and getting it to the curb so that the guys can come and pick it up on Tuesday. But it's just all this like detail work of getting all this. Like we still got to get to this. This came out pretty good. It's leveled nice. Still got to do some more work getting it perfect. But man, just this part right here. So my son has the sod cutter, and what he's doing, you can see he goes right along the edge there to get those pieces where the sod cutter wouldn't work. So this is just a tool you can probably rent. My neighbor has one of these and he let us borrow it. Okay, so same thing here. This had like a hump to it, so I just kept working on it little by little, just shaving off the top if I get it nice and level and consistent with the cement, so it's nice and flat. Okay, so from here on out, right now, I'm trying to get my dirt leveled. So this dirt, whenever I was cutting the lawnmower, it was kind of humped a little bit right here. So I want this perfectly flat for when I'm cutting. And so now I'm actually having to pull out some dirt. So it's just a matter of using this landscape rake that my neighbor let me borrow. And I used the rototiller, that small rototiller earlier. And now I'm using this just to pull some dirt out. So I can still see that it's humped a little bit right here. So I'll probably take the rototiller, gently grind that down, that top a little bit, and get a nice flat, as flat as I can do at least. Okay, this area right here has been giving me absolute fits because I've been pulling non-stop these thin roots from the tree in my front yard, and they're sticking up everywhere. Man, it was 52 degrees when I woke up this morning. It's probably 70 something right now. The whole week's supposed to be dry and cool. It just doesn't get any better right now to start a fall project like this, or a project like this. This is just perfect seed growing weather, everything. I'll get the sprinklers on, and so we'll continue on. Focus on this section first. Oh, the other thing too is focusing on this section because tomorrow the city is coming out and they're going to pick up this pile for me and pick up that pile. I think I mentioned that in a previous part of this video, but I need to get as much of the grass that I can into these piles so the city can pick them up tomorrow. And this is gone. Look at the size of this tree root. I think I'm just gonna snip it right there and call it good. Cut it right there too. At least it's out. How far we can go if I just pull it. Ugh. Come on. Holy. All right, I'm just cutting it. That's it. And then, okay, back here. Man, this is really... Oh, all right. Let's see. Whoa. Okay, it's like traveling. Man. All right, it's out. Was not expecting this much tree root action over here, quite honestly. But it's out, so that's the good news. I'm going with, it's a perennial rye from outsidepride.com. I have no affiliation with these people. I'm just showing you what I'm using, and it's the right there, the Fireball hat trick. So we'll see how this works out. I'm excited. You know, I've said this many times about grass, and I've been doing this for over 30 years, and once again, I will always say the same thing. It's just grass. If it doesn't work out, I regrow a different grass seed. It's not a big deal. It's just grass. It's easy to grow. It's easy to maintain when you figure it out. It's kind of like having a pool. When you get your pool balanced, it is just the most minimal amount of care needed, right? So the good news is, this is where you want to focus as much of your work as you can. Your foundation, just like your foundation for your house, your foundation for your grass is everything. So eventually I'll have to maybe lawn level it a little bit, but I have got this, I mean, dead on, perfect, graded how I want it to. So now it's time to get the seed down. And okay, so I did have people ask me why I didn't put any kind of straw or anything over the top to keep the birds from eating it. So I wanted to test this out just to see what would happen. And sure enough, I never had any birds try to eat the seed or anything. I got lucky with the weather, so I didn't need to put any kind of straw down to hold the seed in place so it didn't wash away. So everything just really worked out well. This section is done, seed is down. I did a gentle rake over it all. And now some starter fertilizer, just 10-10-10, anything you can get it at Lowe's, Home Depot works. Some people use Milorganite even. So he's gonna run around with the starter fertilizer, and then we fire up the sprinklers and we keep it wet, and we should be good. Happens. Sprinklers are on. So I'll run these. We got a lot of dry weather coming up right now, so I'll probably run these 4 to 5 minutes, 5 to 6 times a day. I just got to make sure that it doesn't dry out. While I've got all my grass torn up, this is a perfect opportunity to fix any sprinkler heads. This sprinkler head, it was sitting at a weird angle, all goofy, and it's clearly way above, at least a good 1.5 inches or so above the concrete. I want it flush with the concrete because I'm going flush with the dirt, like you can see there. So I'm having to dig all this back because it looks like it's just sitting up at an angle. So I'm digging out under all here. I'm gonna try and get this thing pushed back down in the dirt so that this hose, I don't know if it's coming out, this will sit level. So at any point, this is a good time to fix any irrigation issues you may have. That's another one I'm going to need to fix there. It's sitting up a little high, but this is the time to do it. Your dirt's all dug up, grass is gone, and you can work on these things right now. Really easy. Okay, so check it out. I'm holding it down with one hand, but now we are sitting flush. A little bit of hand digging. Nice little tool for working in a tight space like this. And I'll pack the dirt on it, and we were sitting nice and flush. That's all it required, was digging out underneath to get it to sit down better. Okay, so we are on, let's see, day 4. So I'm trying to, this is all done, been getting good water. Now I'm trying to level this area down, which it's just gonna be as good as it's gonna be because the tree roots in here are getting to be bad. So I'm just gonna get it as flat and as level as I can and throw seed. So like right here, it's just massive tree roots. I'm gonna try to dig this one out and just get it cleaned up as best I can at this point. This one, the tree's not coming down, so I'll do what I can with this area. Okay, so I'm just about ready for seed on this section. And I gotta check my sprinkler coverages because it looks like I'm not, like this one, it clearly, sprinkler's clearly not getting any water like right in that area. I mean, look, it's bone dry over here. So this needs to be adjusted. Maybe they're just dirty or clogged. This one, it doesn't look too bad, not the greatest. This one though definitely has got to get fixed. And I think this one too. So a couple quick adjustments. Again, things you got to do before you put your seed down. So I wanted to run these just to see what the coverage is, because I can see like right here, it's dry. It's not even getting anything. So this is a good opportunity to really look at how if you have irrigation. Look at this one, it just looks like these all need to be adjusted a bit much. And yeah, even this one. Maybe I just need to clean all these heads and see what happens. See, I'm not even getting any water in this section right here. It is day 6 since I seeded and no germination yet. I thought for sure we'd have something by now, but nothing. It's just still keeping it moist. Weather's been really good. Weather here has been like fall basically in a sense. We had a great string this past week of temperatures in the 70s, lows in the 50s, so I nailed it as far as timing. Now going forward to next week when I finish the rest of all these sections back here and then on the other side of my truck over there, we're supposed to hit a string of 80s, mid 80s, so it's going to be tough come next week. But man, I was really hoping this would pop today, so maybe a couple more days. Day 6, still nothing, but we're getting there. So I've completely replaced that sprinkler head, which is pretty easy. You just got to dig it out, and it literally just unscrews from the base that it's in, and then I'll just put all the dirt back into the hole. But brand new head, should spray a lot better, or will. Put a new head on that one, and then that one got a new head. scratch. I lightly watered and raked this, leveled that back down, got that whole section back there leveled. So here we go. Today, or this time rather, I'm going to use this little Scott's Whiz to put the seed down. This thing works pretty cool. Watch this. Not too shabby, right? Kind of got to play with the wind on it. Puts down nice even seed. Kind of like it. The whiz, I guess we could call it, right? Okay. Same process with the other parts that we did. Just a nice, light, easy rake over all this, just to get the soil all mixed up. I'm sorry, get the soil and the seed mixed up. See how it, I don't know how it's good coming out, but just nice, easy rake. Gets that seed in the dirt really good. This is it, job is done. This was the last section right here. We just finished it up. This, check it out. This is day 7. No, day 6, I believe. I think no, this is day 7, yeah. It was Sunday, a week ago today, that I seeded this, and we have got lots of grass coming up, lots of germination. And we've got a lot of nice warm weather coming up, but it's gonna be a challenge to keep this damp. So sprinklers will be running consistently, but happy to say job is officially done, and now it's just a matter of watering it, and that's it.
What on God's green earth is going on here? I think they haven't officially inspected.
Little follow-up video here. So I'm 2 weeks since seeding the front yard, which looks just phenomenal. It's coming in fantastic. This boulevard area, along with this, and this is 1 week out. I had to get this done first because of the oak tree acorns that drop, and just the squirrels dig into the grass, and it's just a mess. So okay, video of tools that I use to complete this job. So let's start with the sod cutter. I don't have that here, obviously. I just rented it. But that was everything to get all the dirt out. So sod cutter was number 1. I chose a sod cutter because I needed to level so much of this grass. I bet you I took a good yard or 2 of dirt out of this section. It was horribly uneven at the sidewalk and everywhere, so I wanted to do the sod cutter. I know a lot of people use glyphosate and just glyphosate the yard, scalp it down, and then rent a slit seeder. You know, do what works for your situation. That's what it comes down to. You got to figure out what you're doing, what your situation is, the time of the year, your location. There's so much you can factor into this to figure out what's the best and effective and most efficient way to get the job done. So with that, okay, back to tools I use. So let's go with the cultivator. I've owned this little cultivator tool for so freaking long, and it has been a champ. I bet you this thing's 30 years old. You could probably pick one of these up on Facebook Marketplace for just, you know, 10, 20 bucks, I bet, or something silly like that. This was absolutely phenomenal because it helped me knock down a lot of the bumps here. It helped me level here. On this section, it was crowned to it, so I knocked it down, raked it all nice and level and flat. I can't say enough of how important that little tool is. It makes your life so easy, and it doesn't dig like a rototiller. You know, you can just manage it for like a couple inches of the topsoil, of, you know, just to get enough to just to level things off. So that was a phenomenal tool. Another tool that I think was probably one of my favorites to use, I borrowed this from my neighbor, is the landscape rake right here. I use this constantly. I was picking out small roots with it. It just worked great for leveling. It worked great for getting the dirt a little, you know, rough, scarified, I guess you could say, to get the seed down. Fantastic tool. That is a must-have if you're doing this job. The small garden rake, yeah, it works. No, get the landscape rake. That's way better. So I can't say enough for that tool right there. That was huge. The lawn leveling rake. I use that a little bit just to kind of make sure everything was perfectly level and flat. So that was definitely a useful tool. If you don't have one of those, you're gonna need one anyways, because as I always say, when you're doing this lawn job, it's better to take away too much soil in sections because it's easier to add after the fact. If you're trying to add dirt somewhere, remove dirt after the lawn is seeded, forget it. It's too much. So I can always, and I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna end up sand leveling this because I don't think it's absolutely perfect after the dirt settled. So that'll get sand leveled. You need one of those. Okay, so I had a lot of, wait, one more thing here. And the little sod cutter, this tool right here. My neighbor let me borrow this, thank God, because there's sections of your sod you're not gonna be able to get up perfectly with the cutter. This tool right here was so good. It's got this little angle to it like this, and you just get right under the sod and lift it up. This was phenomenal. You need one of these if you're doing this job. Can't say enough for that tool. I replaced a ton of sprinkler heads. What I realized is my coverage was not good when I was turning the sprinklers on when the ground was bare. So this spade shovel, I think it's called, garden spade, D-handle garden spade shovel. Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever you want, Amazon. That was phenomenal for getting down in to dig out the sprinkler heads. And I use it a little bit to chop up some roots and stuff, which brings me to the axe. I had so many tree roots in here. I had tree roots all in here. I needed that axe to chop out so many different tree roots, which also brings me to this tool, because the smaller roots, I was clipping with that and just yanking them out and doing everything with that one. And then last but not least, your standard garden spade shovel. I use that sparingly here and there for a few small things, but nothing major. But otherwise, these are the tools you will need that I used for the job. Okay, it is September 27th, so 27 days since I seeded, and as you can tell, wow, it's looking good. It is looking good. Now, there are some thin spots in here. You can see them kind of still in there. Get sprayed by the sprinklers. These will all in time, that spot right there too, these will all in time grow in nice and thick. Still looking good. This was seeded, or sowed rather, about a week after this. This is going to be ready to be cut probably by tomorrow or something. It's just ready, it's not going to hurt it. Same with this section, it's coming in good. This section is kind of lagging, and you can see how we got more seed in there in those spots. And then this section back here, I cut that one today. That's coming in good. So all in all, I'm really happy with the way everything is looking. Really happy. Final video edit to this. This is November 24th. Grass just looks fantastic. Just fantastic. It's still got to thicken up some for springtime, but overall, I'm super happy, super pleased. And I guess this might be about the end because winter is coming here in Michigan.